Those two ponds were gravel pits operated for many years by first Knife River, some people still call them Knife River ponds. But if you look at photos less than 10 years old, that whole area out there was completely bare, just bare rock. When the gravel company finished mining, the DEQ required them to do a reclamation. So the reclamation involved putting some soil, topsoil back on the site, seeding it, you see all that grass, and doing a little bit of planting of trees. All those trees that you see around the pond, they did not plant. Those all came in naturally. So what's happening out here, you see kind of a gray, almost like a narrow little beach along the edges of the two ponds. The water is at its low point of the year right now, the groundwater. And it was 4 to 4.5 feet higher in May. So as the water goes up and down on these ponds, it creates a perfect environment for willows and cottonwoods to seed and root and grow. So the final orientation. So you are now on this map standing about right here, which is on this pink area, which is the Learning with Meaning property. It goes all the way down to the Bitter River. How many acres is it?
140.
140 acres, most of which is in a conservation easement with Five Valleys Land Trust. This little sliver here, right below us, is not in the conservation easement because the prior owner's plan was to build 120 townhomes there. But they couldn't get a sewer permit from the city, and so they ended up selling the property to Learning with Meaning. So that's that property. This is the property I just described that was the gravel pit. The green properties are owned by the University of Montana, almost 200 acres along the Bitter River. And then this is the city parks. This is the historical museum at Fort Missoula. And this is also city and county property over here. And this is property that belongs, that's that huge farm field with the Oreo cows on it out there. Those belong to, that property belongs to the school district. That's the agricultural education area. So what does it all amount to? From a conservation perspective, what we think it amounts to is an amazing, huge piece of open land along the river. In fact, we've mapped it on Google Earth, and there's about 1,200 contiguous acres here that do not have a single human home or habitation, all along almost 3 miles of the river. It goes all the way down to McClay Flat on that side, all along the butte here. The other side of the butte belongs to a different owner, but it's also in a conservation easement, so the butte is almost entirely protected, as well as the riverfront land. And this University of Montana land, some of it is maybe along Slevens Island, protected by the fact that it's floodplain, but most of it is future undetermined. So what the three partners that have been working most closely together, again, Clark Fork Coalition with Montana Natural History Center and the Five Valleys Audubon, as well as some university people, is trying to get a concept that why can't this whole area along the river be conserved between the university and the city, so that this could continue to serve as wildlife habitat and open space and potentially recreation for the people of Missoula. But as kind of our vision is kind of leave it natural, leave it wild, don't spend a bunch of taxpayer money on developing it, a whole bunch of features out here. We have a whole park over there that is part of a $40 million bond that is very highly developed. So our idea is a great complement to a highly developed, beautiful park over there is an undeveloped but differently beautiful and highly unique site here. Five Valleys Audubon university students and other bird watchers have documented just in this area between these ponds and Fort Missoula, near the forestry center there, they've documented more species of birds than any other place in Missoula County, just in the last 5 years. So what does that mean? If you're not a bird watcher, I would say the big picture means that This is a really diverse, interesting place for wildlife of all types. That's what we're working on, is trying to convince the city and the other landowners here that this has great value and uniqueness. The city will hold public hearings to determine the future of this parcel and how it should be developed and how it should be used. And so we're hoping that people can come out on days like today and see the migration happening out here like we did in the spring, and understand the unique value that this site has, and hopefully advocate for more of a natural management vision for this site, and particularly the city property.